A fairly interesting day, but today was quite different.
We left Berrima at about 9 o'clock this morning after a fabulous cooked breakfast and headed into Mittagong to fuel up. From there it was into the State Forest and to tackle the power line track.
Now, yesterday's tracks were nice, comfortable country roads. Today we've got a hint of maybe a little bit more serious, some hardcore rocks, so the boys are straight out with their tyre deflators, letting those tyres down. Lowering your pressures will have a lot of positive effects. It not only reduces the impact on the terrain, it also protects the environment. More traction means less scrambling, less wheel spin, therefore less damage to the tracks. Now, Danny's vehicle here is set up with the most extreme tyres of the group for this trip, and knowing Danny and the way he drives, his vehicle's set up with front and rear lockers, I think he'll be the man to have a crack at the rocky ledge. Matt Frost here from ARB is using the ARB tyre deflator, and that is a rapid deflator that will quickly get the air out. You will actually do 4 tyres in the time it takes to do 1 tyre with other deflators.
Now, this power line track, as the name infers, follows the power lines. And my goodness, is there some rocks there. And there's sand. Now, the interesting thing about the rocks and the sand is like bricky sand. It's kind of yellow and it's really soft. And when the rocks get under the wheels, they don't stay as rocks anymore. They turn into sand. So we get this huge sand effect.
Big thing to remember when you're out with a group is teamwork and constant communication with everybody. Today, I think you've seen a bit of that happening. There was teamwork, there was talking. We were careful not to tear the tracks up as well. It's an unfortunate misnomer with four-wheel driving that we're out here wrecking the bush. We're not. We care about the bush. This is our playground. This is our hobby. We love doing it. And for some of us, this is our job. And it's the greatest job in the world. And where else would you want to be but out four-wheel driving with your family and your friends and having a great time of it?
Now, obviously, taller vehicles don't need quite so much preparation and help. Some of the lower vehicles, despite the fact they haven't got a lot of suspension travel or a lot of clearance, with a little bit of road building, we can actually get them up some pretty good terrain.
Certainly a track with very, very tough terrain to get through, and it was really interesting to see how the different vehicles handle it. I must admit, I was pretty surprised at how easily the Pathfinder did it. The Pathfinder is a standard vehicle, it's got no suspension, no lockers, and a half-worn set of all-terrain tyres, but that little vehicle got up there pretty well.
The Land Rover was quite surprising. With pretty much standard tyres, it got nearly everywhere we wanted to go. Obviously, the 80 Series did a great job. Of course, the 200, what can I say? Well, that's got more kilowatts you can poke a stick at. On the dyno, I think we found out it had about 440 newton metres of torque at the wheels, which is about 800 newton metres of torque at the flywheel. The thing's an absolute massive machine. It flew, it did really, really well. Despite the weight, did an excellent job. The other great thing about this terrain that we went to play in today is there's not just one way to do it. There were some great alternatives. There were some really extreme lines that you could pick if you wanted to. There was some medium lines that were quite doable but not quite so potentially dangerous. And there were some really easy lines you could take so we get a standard vehicle up with virtually no dramas whatsoever.
Something that really impressed us and we've never seen before is a 2-stage winch. So it starts off at a 9,000 pound winch for crawling, but then can go up into a higher gear for running out your cable and all that. But the biggest thing was the braking of it. The braking was instantaneous. Unlike a lot of other winches, you sometimes when you let the trigger go, that winch will continue to run on and then slow down. So you've always got to anticipate that. There were no trees for us to anchor off. We used a 200 series Land Cruiser, but we put it up onto a nice, flat, stable platform. what it was doing was pulling the car down rather than pulling the car backwards. So therefore, it was very secure to winch the 80 series up. The other problem we can sometimes have is far too many people involved. Designate someone to be in charge of the winching. Today it was Simon, so therefore we weren't getting in each other's way, and it was done as safely as possible. By using good gear, by using the right techniques, it was quick, easy and painless. And it was all based on teamwork as well.
We had some great time. Danny showed us some really skillful driving. Simon showed us some great direction, how to get up the hill. That was terrific. At the top of the hill, there was a reward beyond belief. There was a view, and I've got to tell you, that was awesome. The view consisted of basically these power lines dropping down, must be kilometres, and you could see for miles and miles. It was absolutely spectacular.
Well folks, it's days like today that you really have to ask yourself, why would you buy anything else other than a four-wheel drive?